Welcome back to another episode of Biggerthangoalspodcast with your boy Sean Suge Amos. Today we have a special guest, my friend here, Sibley Scoles.
The only way that I really popped off and did anything music was thank God for donuts. I would go to Winchell's Donuts in Tarzana, eat donuts at 5 in the morning because nothing else was open. One day he was just sitting there in the booth and I was like, I eat donuts, man, I eat donuts. Called up my friend, left the voicemail, I was like, yo, we gotta record this. Got a call from somebody who said they're looking for extras for this new show that's coming out and ended up being Revolt. We shot the pilot. I just went there to shoot the pilot. The heads that were working with Puff during the shoot, they were like, act as the host. I took the mic.
Welcome back to another episode of Bigger Than Goals podcast with your boy Sean Suge Amos. Today we have a special guest, a friend. She's a host, entrepreneur, artist. Are you still artist? No? Sometimes.
You know, in my mind.
All right. My friend here, Sibley Scoles. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good now.
Good?
We get to do this.
You straighten
we get to
out?
hang out. Yeah.
All right. So
I forgot the last time we saw each other and you just reminded me, so we're good.
yeah, we about 2 years ago. Almost.
Pandemic started in 2020.
Uh-huh. And you had like some
maybe?
Super Bowl party, something like
I
that.
don't remember what it was.
Well, I remember when I walked in, I was extremely proud of you because I've known you for 10 years, right?
We were 16 when we
So you've been
10 years.
10 years, about 10 years back in the day when I was doing security. You was a bartender at a bar around the corner from the place I used to work at.
Yeah.
I used to come to your job after get some
work.
shots.
Drink.
Get some
Yeah,
shots.
you've seen the times.
Yeah. See, I remember you back. This is Mohawk Sid.
Yes.
The gold Mohawk. That was your signature.
The Mohawk. Oh, she might make a return.
Yeah. I like the storm look.
Well, we'll see.
I like this.
I don't know what to do with it.
Nah.
Yeah. Here's not my thing. I don't know what to do with it ever. So it's like we'll see.
All right. So you've been on a journey for a while though. You know, like you so right now you're doing Talk of Nation for the Raiders, right?
Raiders Talk of the Nation.
Uh-huh.
That's the show now. It's on this third season of the show. This is my second season hosting with them. But I started as the in-game host when in 2021 when the Raiders first had fans after the pandemic. So that was the first season with fans. So this is my third season now with the Raiders.
Nice. So where you from?
The Bay.
The Bay?
East Bay. Born in Walnut Creek, raised in Fremont and Hayward.
Now, be honest, were you a Niners fan before the Raiders?
Hell no. Can we say hell on this?
You can talk how you want to talk.
Absolutely not. I will say I was a fan of Jerry Rice. I was a fan of Joe Montana. But and Steve Young and all those guys. But no, we were born and raised in the silver and black. Like,
really?
It's always been Raiders. Also, I feel this is like between two ferns. That's what we're having right now, and it makes me really happy because I love that. But yeah, I've always been a diehard Raider fan,
right.
Like always.
So you from the Bay, but you live in LA. What got you? Because I know your story, but they don't. I know you've been in like London. You've been.
So the Bay, I left. We're not doing no years and dates. We're not aging ourselves today.
It's all good.
But I left right after high school, a couple years after high school. I did JUCO 2 years. I played ball, basketball.
Yeah.
You know, we love basketball. Erica, my sister, progressed further than I did, playing at Northridge and stuff. But I always knew that music was what I wanted to do. I wrote my first rap at 13. My guy cousin.
Do you remember it?
No, and someone else asked me that.
Do you remember at least the content of it?
So, 13 years old, I wrote the rap. I got shut down, or moted is the word we used at the time, by my cousins. They're like, no, we want you to sing. And I'm like, I'm not a singer.
Right.
I want to rap. I want to use my words. Like, grew up rapping Forte, E40,
right.
Mac Dre, Too Short. That was who I wanted to be like. Andre Nicotina and like Yuck Mouth and everybody else. I was like, those are the people I like. And I never wanted to sing, but they would have me do like little hooks and have to fix my voice because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I do, and one day I'll show and post it. I did make CDs. Like when you think of the Bay, you think hustler.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
I was the definition of a hustler. I don't know where that mentality came from, but I pressed up my own CDs when I was young. My parents helped me. They would take me to these open mics in San Francisco in the city.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I was probably 16 in high school, and I would do open mics.
Right.
And they would just bring me out there, and I had CDs with like 3 or 4 songs on them. That's how old I am, CDs.
Yeah,
And
those were the times, though.
those were the
Those were
times.
the
And I
times.
remember I redid like a Diana Ross song, and I wrote a song about my grandfather, who the reason my name is Sibley is because of him. He was a prisoner of war, Purple Heart recipient, was in several of our wars and fought for this country. And so I wrote a song for him. So one day I'll show you that CD. But I don't remember my first rap. I just
Uh-huh.
know that my cousins didn't want me to do it. They wanted me to sing.
So I know you said you didn't know where you got the hustler spirit from,
Yeah.
but the confidence part, do you think your parents, because I know your parents and they are very supportive of you and Erica.
Yeah.
So do you think like
I
with
put
your
them through a
parents,
lot.
do you think the support of your parents help you with a confidence?
Um, I don't know if it's necessarily like the family or what, because my mom was, they did support my move to the Bay, I mean to LA from the Bay at a young age. Because I kept saying this, I'm adamant about it. I want to go. This is what I want to do. College is not for me. It's not for everybody. I support it. I fully support education. But for me, I was like, no, I know what I want to do. I want to be a creative. I want to do my music. I will give all the credit to my family for supporting that.
Right.
The hustler side of it, I just always knew that, okay, if there's not a door open, I have to create that door
Absolutely.
and figure it out. I moved to LA by myself, not knowing a single soul. I remember that first day I got there, my dad like waved. He's like, "All right, I'll see you later." And they moved me into an apartment and helped me out. Like, shout out to my parents for helping me do that.
Right.
I got in my car and I just got lost in the city of LA on purpose. So I was like, I'm gonna know every street. I want to know every city. I want to know where I'm going. And then I just started going out and just trying to meet everybody.
Right.
Because I didn't, and also not going to college, I don't want to say it hurt me a little bit, but it also made me feel less than sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I need to overcompensate for that.
Right.
And I want to just know everything about the world and study as much as I can about things, because I just knew that, not that I was bad in school, that it just wasn't for me.
So you didn't have any plan. You didn't have anything like a job set up. You
I had
didn't.
nothing.
So what you did for money when you got out here?
How many places did I work? It was all service industry stuff.
Right.
And I think that's what taught me also, I will say that's did give me a lot of confidence, because I understood people. So working as a bartender, whether it was, yes, I worked at strip clubs when I was younger. My parents knew. I'd call my mom. She's like, "What are you seeing right now?" I was like, "Don't worry about it, Mom. I'm not up there. Just you're okay. Not that anything's wrong with that. I support all the workers and everyone that does that." But I've worked at strip clubs. I worked at bars. I worked at nightclubs. I did everything I could to know that there was always going to be $1 in my pocket.
Right.
I didn't want a check. I wanted cash.
Yeah, you had to. So you had to. You had to work fast, especially.
I knew. I was like, I need to have cash in my pocket at all times in order for me to survive, have gas, make sure I pay my bills, make sure the rent is paid. And so, yeah, that's what I did, like, literally.
So how long was the survival mode, as far as like before you realized like, hey, look, this is what I really want to do, or were you still pursuing like a career in music during that time?
Survival mode was this. It was a long time. The only way that I really popped off and did anything music was Thank God for Donuts. The song that I did, shout out to MK, did that song with him, and a couple writers. I was working at SBE in the nightclubs
I remember that
industry. Yeah, and I would go to Winchell's Donuts in Tarzana, eat donuts at 5 in the morning because nothing else was open.
Right.
So I'd get off of work, go there, eat with the guy that worked there.
That's a hell of a diet, Sid.
It was great. He would speak Spanish to me, and I would get my Spanish back because I learned it in high school, and I stopped using it when I got to LA. I started using it, so I talked to him in Spanish. He'd teach me that, and then he'd give me donuts. And one day was just sitting there in the booth, and I was like, I eat donuts, man. I eat donuts. I eat donuts, man. I eat donuts. And I called up my friend, left the voicemail. I was like, yo, we got to record this. Then people started to take notice. I was already doing stuff while I was working at the club. I was making my own flyers. 4 in the morning, 2 in the morning, after I was done working, I would print those flyers and stick them.
The flyers
for me and my music. I had a website.
Got you.
SibleyMusic.net. No longer alive.net. I did everything. I made my own graphics. I did all that stuff. Shot my own videos, everything. And after I would be done with work, I'd go stick those stickers all over Hollywood Boulevard. And I was at Viper Room. I was at all these places.
I remember Viper Room.
Yeah,
Is that
I
still a
wasn't
thing?
getting paid. Viper Room's, I think, shut down now.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was like
Unfortunately.
the first stop where you
That
was
was
trying to be.
huge in Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I was doing everything. I know I'm all over the place, but I was doing a lot of all that stuff. And again, that's the hustler mentality where it's like you could tell me no or you're not going to pay me for a show, but I'm still going to get it done. And I was doing that after I got off of work or before I went to work, I'd have a show and then I'd go to work.
So what came out of it as far as like you got your because did the donut song did it go like
It
viral
got you
or
know where it was crazy? Somehow Hawaii got a hold of it.
uh
The islands got it, and they
uh-huh
played it on the radio out there.
really
KMEL played it in the Bay, and then some who ended up being my manager, this woman, she found it, and she's like, "Come to London."
uh
And my uncles worked for the airlines at the time, and I said, "Don't tell my parents. I'm gonna go out here. Can I use your buddy passes?"
mm.
And I went to
There's
London with
there's
like
buddy passes for Europe.
yes,
I wish I would
there
have
is. I
known
was flying first class. Let me tell you, everyone
that.
saw me go back and forth. I was like this kid with all these luggages with me, and so I went out there, and then I ended up literally. I landed in London, and I want to say the next day I was on MTV out there.
Word.
She had me on everything. Like I was on. I was the American that went across the pond to do music when it's usually the opposite.
Like your video or just you
No,
hosting
it was
or
everything. It was me performing. It was me going out there and doing everything as an artist. So I brought donuts out there. And then fast forward, I was out there for 2 years on and off from 2009, 2011. Stella McCartney found the song. She used it for her, she licensed it. So
Gotcha.
my song was at Paris Fashion Week. They played it. They served donuts and pastries during that. And she invited me to Paris Fashion Week. I played at her after party on a white baby grand piano, brought my mom and my auntie out there, my cousins. And then, yeah, I was sitting front row at her runway show, and then she licensed it for her kids.
how long did that like take to get to? Because I know like some we all had these goals and stuff, and but I think the biggest thing for people is the time. So when people tell their story,
It was, I want to say, when did I move to LA? And then it happened in 2000. It was about 7 years.
7 years before the London.
7 years before that
Now,
happened.
were you just like constantly grinding it away for 7 years?
Grinding, doing the music, trying to make as many songs as possible. The grind happened when I got to London too, because I'm like, oh, I'd get into meetings with these big labels. She's just an American rapper. Like she don't like, what's the sound? And at the time it was like Katy Perry and Kesha and everything else. And so they wanted you to emulate that sound because that's when they had the big record deals, the 360s.
Right.
Now it's awesome for artists because you could just put it out yourself.
Yeah, it was independent.
So I was a couple decades late. But yeah, I was just hustling. That was it. I was doing the shows and I was doing bottle service. And then I kind of moved out there from 2009, 2011 on and off. And I just kept hustling.
Right.
And came back from London, broke as a joke.
Really.
Got a call from somebody who said they're looking for extras for this new show that's coming out. It's going to be kind of like an MTV. And ended up being Revolt.
Nice.
And I went as an extra, got paid $200.
Wait, before you go into that story, I remember that. I remember that year though. Like
That was a big year.
No, listen, me and you.
It was a reckless year.
Me,
That was
me
a
and you
reckless
was
year.
hanging out after the bar job. We was in the car. We was taking shots.
In the car?
Yeah, we was taking shots.
We weren't driving the car.
Yeah, we wasn't driving. The car was not in
parked.
motion.
Can we clarify this
Yes,
to the police?
Absolutely. The car was parked,
We
we was just talking, and you've been out here for a while, and that was my first year, but I didn't know where I was going with my life. I know I wanted to be the agent or manager, whatever I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I remember you crying. Just telling me, because I was telling you how my story, but you basically was like, motherfucker, I've been out here for 6, 7 years.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Exactly. And then the next year,
Yeah.
you was on Revolt.
Yeah.
The next year you was on Revolt.
TV.
Yep.
And grateful for the opportunity because going there as an extra, we shot the pilot. I just went there to shoot the pilot. The heads that were working with Puff literally asked me during the shoot, hey, do you want to not only be in the audience, do you want to act as a host?
Right.
And I think they had my name was like Cynthia Ortiz or something like that was the host. I still have that picture. And I had my mohawk. I remember I used to cut my mohawk then myself, so the mohawk was like that thin. It was like basically bald. And I did it, and for some reason, I don't know why, I had a luggage because they asked us to bring different changes of clothes. My sister, Erica, she and I would make clothes for my shows. So I brought my luggage with all kind of show outfits. And I went up there, and they were like, act as the host. I took the mic, and I just
Killed it.
yeah, I guess, yeah. And then
I mean, you was with him for a minute, right?
yeah, I was there. Well, and to be honest, when I did that, I worked for them for on guerrilla style shoots prior to it kicking off. I want to say like almost a year we worked where it was just like, come out. Do you want to shoot this? Do you want to shoot that? I lost 2 bar jobs because I was like,
Oh,
I
so
need
you
to
was doing both.
follow.
You was doing Revolt and
I was working still. Yeah, I
still
was.
working.
Yeah.
So you
And
wasn't
even
rich.
when it was
You
on,
wasn't rich on.
what? That's still not rich. Even when it was on TV, I was kind of like on the transition of leaving the bar.
Got you.
So I told my boss, I was like, I got to choose what I really want to do. He's like, are you going to make money? I said, I mean, I hope. And then the money started to come. And yeah, that was my first gig.
How is that though? Like, I'm sure people see you on TV now. They see you behind a bar. Is that like what kind of feeling did that give you?
So the crazy part is, this is fast forwarding again. After Revolt, I went to radio. I did iHeart. And then while I was at radio, I was literally auditioning for E. Because they had seen me at Revolt and wanted me, but they wanted to make sure I tested well with other people there.
Right.
So at that time, I literally, from that time, all those red carpets I covered in entertainment, when I was covering them, I would see my regulars from Blue Dog. Do you remember when I worked at that place? It was a burger joint.
No, I
Blue
don't.
Dog Burgers. Shout out to y'all over in Sherman
I
Oaks.
remember you was working at Hollywood. That's the only one.
No, I worked at Blue Dog Burger, and I used to have, it was like in the Bel Air, right below Bel Air, in Sherman Oaks, and all those celebrities would be like, oh, what? What are you doing here? I remember, I think it was like James Marsden I'd seen, and a couple other celebrities, and I was like, I don't know how I got here. It's like, you were just taking my order. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how. This is so weird. I think Freddie Prinze Jr. was one of my regulars, and then I might have interviewed Sarah Michelle Gellar, his wife. I told her about the story. Yeah, it was weird. It's very weird because I come from, like, none of this stuff. I didn't know about any of this. I didn't know about celebrities. I didn't know who they were. I just knew music. So when I transitioned into that, it was like I had to go to school. I had to teach myself all about that stuff.
That's nice.
But yeah, it's still weird. They're like, how did you get over here? I was like, I don't know.
So then Revolt, you was with them for a couple years.
Yeah.
Then
Then I went to radio.
Radio. I didn't know you went to radio.
Yeah, I went to iHeart after I left Revolt with Damage, who was my co-host at
Oh,
Revolt.
yeah.
He went to radio first. And was
Shout
like,
out Damage, right?
Yeah,
He from Philly, right?
Yeah, Philly.
Yeah, shout out
that's
Damage,
a Philly guy. And so, yeah, he was like, hey, they want to meet with you. And they gave us our show, and it was a night show. And then I had my own show on Sundays, and I was terrible at radio.
Really?
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
What was the difference between radio
was great because I like to use my voice, but it was also bad because at the time when I was doing it, I don't know how it is now, but they were having us do our own stuff. Like, next song comes up this, and this is what comes up. You got to do the callers. So you're manning the boards too. I mean, they had like a board op, obviously.
Gotcha.
But you're doing a lot by yourself, and I didn't understand it.
Okay.
And my brain was on overload.
I bet.
So I was like, I'm going to tear this whole radio station down on a Sunday afternoon. But that was a very short-lived because during the time I was doing that, I was also shooting a hip-hop show. This is crazy. Beverly Hills, every day, 5 days a week.
Is that the name of the hip hop show? Or that's where you was at?
No, I don't remember the name now.
Okay.
But it was a live hip hop show with like Busy Bone. Everybody would be on there, like old school hip hop folk. But it was dope, and it was all freestyles. It was like the underground crowd.
Right.
Did that. I left there, hit to Burbank, to go shoot the night show at Damage for radio, and then the next day I'd go to E, and test with them in the morning. Go back to Beverly Hills, go to Burbank.
And that went on.
That was on for like 8 months.
Yeah, I remember it was a period you kind of went missing though. You kind of like me and you was hanging out tough, and then with that Revolt hit, and then you just next thing I know I turned on TV. You on Channel E, but that's why I guess I didn't know about the.
Yeah, I was testing. That went on for a while, and then I left radio. Radio was short lived, but I had a great time while I was there. Made a lot of great relationships, and then went to E, and then I was at E for I don't know, like 4.5 years. Yeah. And then Access Hollywood.
You was on the move. So did you ever see did you ever see yourself as a host, like making a career out of it, like you have?
No, I wanted to do my music.
Yeah. You still have
Yeah,
the itch for music sometimes?
I
You do.
do. Yeah, I was even when I would cover red carpets for the Billboard Awards or Grammys, I would get so mad. I'd call my mom afterwards, or I'd like tell my sister, I should be the one that they're interviewing, not me interviewing them. I was so angry.
So you don't have no you're not like celebrity struck, or like you're not like.
I think the person I got excited the most for was like Denzel
Oh,
Washington.
that's dope.
Oprah was awesome.
Mm,
Pink, because she was like one of my favorites, and then The Rock, being from Hayward, being from the East Bay. He's an East Bay kid in the Bay. It was cool, and I got to interview him in China.
that's dope.
Like they sent me out there for 2 days, and it was the craziest thing in the world. So like those were the main people that I got really excited for. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like
So
to
you
talk to
seen
them.
so throughout the journey or story, I should say, it's been a lot of ups and downs. But how are you like handling it? Because I think that's the biggest thing when we're pursuing something. There's ups and downs to test your character and to test how bad you really want the things you say you want. So how did you handle the spurts where you're working 3 different jobs and you don't know if E going to accept you or and so on?
Jim Beam. No, just
You know
kidding.
what I
I'm just kidding. No, it was a lot of like, I don't know what I was doing back in the day. I was losing my mind. I really
No
was.
meditation, no
Oh no, I was
walks
the
in.
opposite of meditation. I was out all night. I was hanging out because I wasn't reckless in the sense of I just didn't care. I really had no idea what was happening. Like even still to this day, I don't understand. I know what I bring to the table,
Right.
but I don't have a pathway of like, oh, this is gonna happen.
So you
This is
don't
gonna
write
happen.
nothing down.
I don't write anything down. I don't make like mood boards. I don't do any of that stuff. I speak my mind on things. I bring things to the table, not just me as a host. I say, okay, I can see. I find where there's missing pieces in projects. That's not all the time.
Right.
I'm not someone special, than anybody else, but I find things that may be missing, and I'm like, oh, I can fix that, or I can do this, or I can fill those gaps where the thing that I will say at the end of the day that helped me was not going to school for journalism. Because when you watch me on camera, it's like me sitting here talking to you right now.
Right.
I could sit and talk to somebody else, and it's going to be the same conversation. It's not going to be, hello, welcome to the Daily News. It's like, no, I don't, like, no offense to anyone who and what they had to do in there, but this is what I know.
Yeah, your personality brings out the fun in everyone else. Like
It's like, I want to talk to my mom. Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean?
Because when I met you, I wasn't in a dark place. I just was in a confused place of like while I'm out in LA. And then we met and then we was hanging out.
Yeah.
And when you talk about those nights where we were you out all night, I was with you.
Yeah,
I was
we
with
were
you the
out.
Greystone nights.
That's why I'm so tired now. Greystone.
And you know what though, you kind of kept my mind off the things that I didn't have. So I just started to really appreciate life, like just appreciate, I'm in LA, I'm having fun.
Right.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah,
Like my
you
heart
can't
is in a
control
good
it.
place, and good things going to happen to me because of that.
Yeah.
So your energy alone just I think
Thanks.
attracts what you need or what you want.
Yeah, I just talk to everyone as if, regardless of what your situation is, what you're doing in life, or whether it's a celebrity, a politician, an athlete that I sit and talk to, I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to my family.
Yeah.
Do I get nervous before interviews? Yeah, sometimes. Do I get nervous when I have to speak in front of, I host at the stadium now by myself this season. I'm hosting alone, plus I'm shooting a show during game. So
Right.
in-game hosting live, plus I'm shooting a show with every celebrity that's in there. I'm doing interviews, stand-ups for my show. There's 65,000 people in there.
That's dope.
And I'm having to make sure that there are no nerves. But yeah, I get nervous. And it's also the team that I've loved my entire life.
That's what
so
I
I
was about
want
to
to
say.
make sure, yeah. And so
That's a full circle moment for you.
It's a full circle moment. And the show that I shoot is for Raider Nation. That's why it's
dope.
called Raiders Talk of the Nation. It's literally for the fans.
So you don't get nervous with 65,000 people listening to you?
No, that's the weird part. But like this,
Is you nervous right here?
this is more nerve-wracking for me than being in front of all those people.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember too.
It'd be the other way around for me.
No, this is too intimate. Don't you think?
I mean, it is because of the room, but not just like I know you
No,
know me.
one-on-one is intimate
This is-
more so than having all those people there, because when I'm looking at the camera. I'm not looking at all those other people, but I will look around. I make sure, the one thing too is being, when I was my artist days, I know how to control a crowd. I know how to speak to a crowd. If I mess something up, I'll include the crowd. I'm really good at like, just keep it moving.
So your past kind of tailored you
Yeah.
for your moment you in
Yeah,
right now.
I didn't have the schooling, so life, my life moments prepared me for what I was going to be.
That's dope. So so this is it right here, the host. You wanna, where you at 5 years from now?
Well, I started my production company last year,
Teeny,
Teeny Rich
Teeny Rich Production, right?
Production. Started that, and shout out again, it was another full circle moment to be able to have production company started after I left Access Hollywood. First year in-game hosting with the Raiders, I had no idea what I was going to do. But I said, let me start my company, see where it takes me. And my family who signed me over at Revolt, everyone there, the guys, the execs, they had a commercial shoot for McDonald's, and that was my first thing. I got to produce talent
Nice.
for 2 days of these young kids for a McDonald's commercial, young black creators, and it was literally just talking to them because they had never been on camera before. And there was about 20 kids, and I sat there and I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew what they were passionate about. So I used that, and I would talk to the family if they were there and try to get little bits and pieces out of their life, and then they go on camera and they're like ready to go.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So your production company focus on mostly commercials, or where's your
Honestly,
focus?
anything.
Really?
Like, I would like to go more behind the scenes, do projects. I want to take on, we were talking about audio earlier, everything else. I invested in a lot of equipment, lighting, audio, cameras, lenses, everything, so that I can eventually have my program for young kids who want to put out work but can't afford to rent everything. Because I remember when I wanted to shoot all my music videos, I didn't have the money to do that. I didn't have the funds to do it, and it was expensive. If you had to go to like Sammy's Cameras or something, the insurance was crazy. So I'm like, oh, I want to be able to do those things for kids either in school or out of school programs where they can take whatever they need, audio, video, production pieces, and then they can go and shoot their stuff.
That's dope. So that's where you at 5 years from now. You gonna be
I would like to be the boss, and work for myself.
Boss.
Yes, I would like to be a boss and work for myself. Have a couple shows out or something, documentaries. I want to work on something with my family and just,
you've done everything you've put your heart into. So I highly doubt you don't.
Road.
But it seemed like a fun road though for you.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
I mean, look, it's been fun for you too.
I'm living.
We're alive. We're breathing.
I'm living, man. I'm having a good time with life.
Yeah.
I'm trying all of the creative ideas that come to my mind, and
the person who continues to try,
and
does not stop, is the one who's not going to fail. That's why you just keep going.
Absolutely. So before we go, because I know I gotta get you out of here.
I gotta go pick up my niece.
Yeah,
it's her birthday. She turns 5 today. Can you believe she's 5?
Kennedy. That's crazy. Shout out to Kennedy. Shout out my boy Herb.
Yes.
Shout out my homie Erica.
Yeah.
So, what a day look like for you when you what does a Raider Nation day looks like? What time you wake up in the morning? What we eating? What's the workout regimen?
Sure. Normally I'll fly in depending. Okay, so I'll just give you this last weekend. So I flew in on Saturday. We have a game Sunday. It was Sunday night, which was a great win for us. Against the Jets. So I flew in Saturday night. Did I have anything that night? I don't remember now. I might have had something when I flew in. And oh no, I did. I had 2 events that I had to go to as soon as I landed.
Right.
And then I promised one of the trainers, he's a boxing trainer, that I would go work out with him and train. And I did. So that lasted till like midnight.
Right.
And I had to be up at 6 a.m. because I just had to knock things out the next day. I trained again that next morning.
How often are you working out? Are you working out 2 times a day?
Not double days, but that was a double day. Like
shoot.
that morning, Saturday before I flew, I did in LA.
After seeing myself on camera, I realized I need to work out more.
We all can work out.
I'm like, you know what? I need to work out a little
No,
more.
that's my mental. Besides therapy, that's also like, I have to do it. Like today I didn't, and I was so pissed that I didn't get it done. But I was like, it's okay, just don't think about it. So I did all that on Saturday. Sunday morning, worked out. had the Sunday night game. But if it's a Sunday night game, I get into hair and makeup at like, we'll do like 10 o'clock in the morning. So not super early. But normal game days will be 6 a.m. I get up at 5 a.m., get in hair and makeup at 6. She comes to my hotel, shout out to Heather, and we knock out the game. Whatever happens after the game or how long it takes, that's a whole day from like 6 a.m. to 5,
Sheesh.
So then I go to bed the next day. Like this week, I shot stuff for F1, so then stayed in Vegas 2 more days.
Right.
And like had a whole production rehearsal Monday night, and then Tuesday, whole full per day of production.
That's crazy.
And then wrapped at 6, got to the airport at 7, left at 8.
So you don't sleep, pretty much, is what you're saying. So you ain't the same Sib I once knew.
No, I can't anymore.
Party
I can't
all
hold
night.
it down.
That's good. But that's good, though.
Yeah, but it's, I know I was all over the place, but yeah, the journey's been, it has not been like one, is it linear? Is that the word?
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
that the word I'm looking for?
Maybe.
You went to college. What's the word?
I don't know. Straight. You ain't going like that. It means straight to me.
No, but it's been all over the place. I'm still trying to figure out to this day and understand how do we get here, grateful for being here, happy about being here. But there's a lot of work to be done still.
Absolutely.
Like I have so many goals. I can't get complacent. I have to keep going.
So we're in the time when female artists is ruling right now.
Yes.
Have you had any advice for a female artist who want to come up, come to LA? What would you have for them?
I will say, number one, Lady London. I really like her.
Uh-huh.
I would like her to get more credit than she's getting. And I think she's signed to MC Lyte, actually, who worked with me shortly. I worked with her, actually. Let me put it that way.
Right.
I worked with her. She was, a mentor during my music time. I think someone she worked with in her office had seen a couple of the shows at one of the places, maybe Roxy or wherever I was at, and went back and told her, and that's how our relationship started.
Nice. MC Lyte?
MC
Wow.
Lyte, yes.
She's a legend.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So many moments with her. We're still in contact to this day. But she's, I think if there's any advice I can give to anyone, whether you're a content creator or you're trying to host or you want to do music, just from what I've seen and how things have changed so much, this is the time, like you said, trying to figure it out, right? We're all trying to figure it out at the end of the day, no matter who you are. Don't be afraid to put something out. Who cares? Like, at the end of the day, you win as soon as you put it out.
Yep.
Because content is king, queen. And the more that you try to hide your creativity, or the more that you try to like be, scared to put something out, it's gonna take you forever to finally like put your foot forward. Because the first thing is like just doing it.
No,
that's
100%.
the biggest step, is just doing it. And I need to take that my own advice too.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid sometimes to put things out, or like I told you, I don't like doing podcasts because I'm nervous. And I black out.
You had to twist the arm to come up here, but
yeah, I get nervous about what I say. I'm like, am I saying it right? Can people use this against me? But you have to just stop thinking. That's like the biggest thing. Don't think so much and just do it.
No, that's what's up.
Take Nike's advice.
And I didn't know you had a good relationship with MC. Like, what was one of the things that she told you that helped you in your career?
It wasn't so much about what she told me, and I can hear her voice right now talking to me. You know that voice. It was watching her work. I was on a video set with her when she was shooting her stuff, and she had new management. I was working with them for a little bit doing some music. It was just more about how she moved, the person that she was when we went out. And when I saw her in the studio, she was just always genuine. I think you can't fake that. You got to be yourself. She's herself every time she steps into a room.
So your circle definitely kind of molds you.
Yeah,
I think that's very important, that people hang with the people where they want to be at.
Yeah, she was always, you feel confident around her.
That's what's up.
Because she's got the confidence, and no one can tell her any different. But it's not a cocky confidence, it's a good confidence. It's kind of like, and Queen Latifah was the same way. Like, I interviewed her a lot when I was working, and her demeanor and, everything else is like, okay, I see why you're who you are.
That's dope.
And why it works.
That's dope.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I love to see my friends win. You definitely are a person I consider my friend, and definitely a person I consider winning.
Thank
so
you.
keep it up. Keep up all the hard work.
Thank you.
Anything that we can look forward to?
What can we look forward to?
I don't know. You tell me. You the one always creating something. You always on the go.
We'll keep you posted, but I did. They know we haven't made the announcement, but it is signed and everything else. Well, I got stuff coming up next year for NFL, so keep your eyes peeled on that. I won't be specific, even though that deal's signed.
Oh, good.
And then I'm Steph Curry Unanimous. I signed to his production company under one of their programs that they have. Bringing creatives in who wouldn't necessarily get an opportunity or get in front of the right people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working with them on a few projects.
Oh.
And that's helping with the production company. They've been amazing. He's amazing every time I've met with him.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 times that he and I have had FaceTime has been great. I used to interview Aisha at my E days.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole team over there at Unanimous has been awesome. And I'm hoping to get something out with them at the top of the year and get those things done. And then the NFL also is January, February.
Sheesh.
So we got more.
I don't know how you balance it. How you gonna do it?
We're gonna figure it out.
All right.
But no, yeah, that's it right now. And then, just being an auntie.
All right,
That's
there
my
you
life.
go. I think we close out right there. We gotta let Sibley go. She gotta pick up her niece Kennedy.
Yes.
But another great episode. I appreciate your time. Perfect
Thank
time,
you.
right?
Perfect timing.
Perfect time. I was keeping the clock in my
you.
head. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. Again, another episode of Bigger Than Goals podcast.